Oh, yes. Thank you. What happened? Did they say?
A single gunshot was fired, followed by a group of teenagers scrambling in every direction. One of them was seen jumping into a car with a girl before speeding away. The information is vague, but it gives police a starting point. Detectives soon arrive at the scene and launch a formal homicide investigation. While examining the body, they notice something odd about the victim. He's still wearing an apron, the kind used by restaurant staff, suggesting he might have worked nearby. That small detail sends them straight across the street to the only restaurant in sight, Wendy's Diner. When seen, the owners immediately recognize the victim. His name is Jay. He's 16 years old. The dishwasher only started a few weeks earlier. To the police, his grandfather is a regular customer, and officers are able to call him and ask him to come down to the scene. When Jay's grandfather arrives, detectives have to break the tragic news to him. The way he tells them about Jay's life will start to hint at darker things he may have been involved in. Although the news clearly breaks him, he takes it with quiet strength, telling detectives that his grandson had been involved in something lately that might be what got him killed. And as the conversation continues, he mentions one more heartbreaking detail. Jay wasn't just a teenager with secrets. He was about to become a father.
Mm. Mm.
The revelation only adds to the tragedy. Jay's girlfriend, 17-year-old Elizabeth Baldonado, is pregnant with his child and has no idea that he's gone. Investigators plan to speak with her later, but for now they allow Jay's grandfather to leave the scene and deliver the news himself, telling her that the detectives will be in touch soon. If anyone can explain what Jay had been caught up in, it's her. Later, the homicide case is officially assigned to Detective Anna Garciaga as the lead investigator. After reviewing the initial reports and witness
Hey
statements,
guys, welcome in. Thank you for watching.
surveillance footage that might reveal what happened. It doesn't take long before officers locate a camera mounted outside a nearby school, angled directly towards the alley where the shooting took place. When they sit down to review the footage, they finally get their first visual clue of Jay's killers. On screen, the gold Toyota sedan can be seen racing away seconds after the gunshot. Through the tinted glass, detectives can barely make out what appears to be two figures inside the vehicle, meaning there are at least two suspects on the loose. A couple of hours later, detectives arrive at the apartment where Jay's girlfriend, Elizabeth, is staying. They believe she might have committed one of Robin. Face to face with one of Jay's killers, someone far closer to him than anyone imagined.
I'll say he was at work, huh?
Evening, let's go for convenience. Lines up with the shooting. Around 11:20 a.m. is when Jay stopped responding to her messages. The same time investigators believe he was killed. Beyond that, Elizabeth doesn't offer much. Seeing Jay often kept to himself and never told her what he was doing. To detectives, it sounds like Jay might have gotten himself involved in something he didn't want anyone else to know about. Maybe a deal that went wrong or a confrontation that escalated. Whatever it was, it's likely what got him killed. Or at least, that's what it seems at first. Because Elizabeth isn't telling the full story. Not yet. And the next thing she remembers will just give detectives a new lead. They'll start turning suspicion towards Elizabeth and her own family.
All right, what's she talking about? Oh, her brother and him. They supposed to box. Mm. Mhm.
To Elizabeth, her brother Angelo was supposed to box it out with her boyfriend Jay that morning. A teenage fight meant to settle whatever tension had been building between them. Although the fight never happened, and Elizabeth insists it has nothing to do with the homicide, it suggests the conflict could have been personal. Investigators will now have to follow up on this and look into Angelo's involvement before ruling him out. But before the
He got
conversation
these gloves on.
any further with Elizabeth, Jay's
Oh,
family
he a tattoo artist. Okay.
word of the shooting has already reached them, but they still haven't received an official confirmation from police. Detective Anna Bruciaga has no choice but to break the tragic news to Jay's mother, a moment that no amount of experience could ever prepare anyone for.
Mm. She passed out. Oh, dang. Yeah, dang.
Devastating news delivered. Detective Anna Bruciaga tries to gather any insight from Jay's family, but they don't seem to have it. His mother can't imagine who would want to hurt him, leaving detectives with no clear leads or motives to work with. As investigators collect Jay's phone and prepare to leave, another woman walks into the apartment. Ortiz Chavez, looking to comfort her daughter. Detective Bruciaga sits down with her to collect some basic information. A casual conversation at first, until Chavez mentions a small detail that catches the detective's attention and quietly puts her on the radar. As Chavez describes her vehicle, Detective Bruciaga immediately recognizes the description. Cold to innocent man. Similar to the one caught on surveillance footage speeding away just seconds after the shooting. The connection is hard to ignore. Bruciaga notes the details, but decides it's too early to jump to conclusions. Wanting to verify it as quickly as possible, she wraps up the initial interview with the family and heads out with officers to the spot where Chavez abandoned her car that morning. When they arrive, the car is nowhere to be found. Bruciaga starts suspecting Chavez might be hiding something. About 40 minutes later, investigators return to the apartment to interview Chavez privately. And that's when things start to get interesting. By now, it's only been a few hours since Jay was killed. Most detectives would still be collecting statements, but Bruciaga's instincts tell her there's no time to waste. So she sits down with Chavez and makes a bold accusation.
Hi, welcome in. Thank you.
Detective Bruciaga is quick to connect the dots, suspecting that it's Chavez's car that was speeding away. But Chavez claims she abandoned it, and it must have been stolen. However, the detective is about to take things one step further, because if Chavez's car was used in a murder, the next logical question is, who was behind the wheel? And with what Elizabeth revealed about the planned fight that morning, there's only one thing that fits. Chavez's son, Angelo.
Mm.
Chavez's warning to Amy only reinforces the detective's suspicions. If she really abandoned her car around 10:30 that morning and it suddenly vanished, then there's a very high chance it's the same gold Toyota caught on CCTV later when Jay was shot. Witnesses also reported seeing a young male and female inside the car. And with Chavez having both a teenage son, Angelo, and a daughter, Elizabeth, things are starting to look very suspicious for her family. For now, though, all of this remains as just early suspicion. After all, detectives know Jay had been hiding things. He was secretive, and clearly something he wasn't telling anyone about. But there's something eerily strange about Chavez's demeanor that Detective Bruciaga can't ignore. Even after being told her son might be involved in a homicide, she stays quiet, almost detached. Not the kind of reaction you'd expect from a lawyer facing that sort of accusation. And the longer the conversation goes, the more convinced Bruciaga becomes that the mother sitting in front of her knows more than she's letting on. So the detective decides to take an even bigger risk this time and make an accusation that most investigators would hesitate to ask this early on.
You do. It's crazy.
Chavez's reaction isn't what Detective was not these things at all. Instead of breaking down or reacting defensively, she simply denies it with a sorrowful face. This response leaves Persiaga torn between two possibilities. Either Chavez is innocent, but in complete shock, struggling to process what's happening, or she's carefully keeping her composure to hide a guilty conscience and protect her children. Either way, she sticks to her story, and with nothing concrete so far, the interview comes to an end. But even without proof, Luciana can't shake the feeling that her instincts are right, that one of Jay's killers is sitting in this very apartment. With her doubts only growing, Luciana decides to move quickly and verify Chavez's version of events with the one person who can either confirm or contradict it, her son, Angelo. Within an hour, investigators head straight to Angelo's workplace to talk to him in person. Whatever he tells detectives will either clear his family or make things even worse for them. Angelo confirms most of what detectives have already heard from his sister and mother, saying Jay wanted to box it out that morning, but the fight never happened. Beyond that, there isn't much new information, and his version of events lines up neatly with his mother's timeline. For now, their stories seem consistent. But until those details can be verified, Detective Persiaga knows she has to take everything they've said at face value. However, before investigators can dig deeper, Angelo's mother suddenly walks in, and this time, she's far less cooperative. Investigators attempts to convince her otherwise. Chavez insists on taking Angelo home, even if her intentions are innocent. This sudden change in behavior doesn't help their case at all. If anything, it makes it look like an attempt to shield her son from further questioning. With the interview shut down, officers seize the family's phones, hoping digital evidence might reveal what they're not saying out loud. Being at the police station, detectives spend the next couple of weeks combing through statements, surveillance footage, and phone data. What they find begins to reshape the entire case. Among the first discoveries are text messages showing that Chavez was directly involved in arranging the so-called boxing match between her son Angelo and her daughter's boyfriend Jay. In one exchange, Elizabeth texts Jay saying that that Jay and Elizabeth's relationship was deteriorating, with both of them talking about breaking up. In one message, Jay tells her directly, "I'll talk to you when it comes to the baby, but I ain't doing this with you anymore." Or the controversy. Elizabeth told detectives her boyfriend didn't leave the house until 10 that morning. Yet, Jay's phone shows him texting others about Angelo not showing up as early as 8 o'clock. In one of those messages, Jay texts a friend, "I didn't show." 8 o'clock, the mom said, and it's 9. Man, her family's a bunch of fools, I swear. Additionally, detectives uncover another name that hadn't come up before. Elizabeth's older brother, Gilbert. In his messages, Gilbert expresses anger towards Jay and even makes promises of retaliation. By the end of the review, Detective Burciaga becomes convinced that the entire family might be involved in planning what happened that day. Now, it's no longer a question of what happened, but who did it and exactly why. In the days following Jay's murder, investigators were at a standstill because Angelo and Elizabeth are still minors. Their mother refuses to let them speak with police, effectively blocking detectives from getting any answers directly from them. But 20 days after the shooting, that changes. Jay's girlfriend, Elizabeth Baldonado, turns 18 years old, and her mother can no longer stop her from talking. Detective Burciaga seizes the opportunity and convinces her to come down to the station to see the new evidence they've uncovered, carefully leaving out that it's evidence pointing towards her own family. The goal is simple: find out who was directly involved in Jay's killing, or better yet, get a confession. But before we get to that, you struggle with deciding what to cook every day, or just end up ordering food every time? HelloFresh might be the best option for you. Save you both time and money on your daily.
That's a crazy ad for a true crime show. Normally it's like Morgan and Morgan or something. You know, some type of law firm or something. Right. That's different, right?
Over 100 options each week. Now you can get steak and seafood recipes delivered every week for no extra cost. And there are 3 times the seafood options as before. The best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/DrInsanity10FM to get 10 free meals and a free breakfast for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's HelloFresh.com/DrInsanity10FM to get 10 free meals and free breakfast for life. With that said, let's get back to Elizabeth's interrogation. This time, detectives plan to double down on the accusations instead of playing nice. But this will soon backfire because, unlike her mother,
I wonder if they're gonna lock the mama up. I need to know.
different.
Because she's obstructing justice at this moment, right? Harboring a future something. She doing something. mama.
As planned, there is no small talk or warm up. Right away, Detective Berciaga tells Elizabeth she's not being fully honest. The approach is blunt, and it's clearly hitting a nerve as Elizabeth quickly grows defensive. But Berciaga isn't backing off just yet. She's about to bet everything on her next move, laying out every piece of evidence she has against the family in hopes of eliciting an admission from Elizabeth. So you brought up that your brother Gilbert had mentioned and said that he was going to send someone out there to take care of it. Because my brother knows that if he were to do anything, I would never speak to him again or at all. I would have part of my life at all. So Gilbert didn't do it. Why would my brother do it? My brother really wants to get a feel of my I'm pretty sure you've been in a household and have heard conversations. Right, let's say it. I've heard that. So, where is your mom's car? You're seriously assuming that one of my family members did it? It's because her is missing. She literally filed the form that her car was missing that night. Okay, so you say, close to my right? And he's, so where are you covering for your mom and your brother? I'm not covering for anybody. Are you fucking serious? You seriously think that they did it? Yes, my mom. Mom loved that child too. And maybe not she, but if I tell you, like I told you, they drove my car. It's not
Right, who are you talking about? Okay.
homicide. Like I told you, I don't have any Toyota Camrys that are cold, live in the city.
No, it's not a coincidence, girl.
It's clear that Elizabeth has reached her breaking point. Every accusation towards her family is pushing her closer to the edge. Most investigators would pull back here, take a break, try to de-escalate, but not Detective Berciaga. Instead, she decides to take a bigger risk, one that's bold but calculated. Rather than fighting Elizabeth's denials, she will feed into them, even agreeing that she's only trying to protect her family. In doing so, Berciaga wants to make Elizabeth feel safe enough to talk and reveal what she's really hiding. It's a delicate psychological play, one that could end the interview entirely, or solve the case right here and now. Your mom said she drove Angela to his interview. Guess what? Angela said he borrowed the car from your mom and he drove himself to the interview. So honestly, sometimes and I kind of understand that you don't want to see. No, they did not do it because you were literally looking in the wrong place. You're just trying to blame somebody just so that you can get someone for the crime. I know they didn't do it because I don't know for sure, but I know they would have done something like that. They know how much they appreciate me, and literally they have seen how much I have died these past 2 weeks. I'm telling you, if I find out your brother, I'm telling you when I gather up all my evidence and I arrest your brother, I hope that you did no more. I think you're really going to tell me more than you're telling me. Not to the lost ones because somebody took your baby's dad's life and now that baby's not going to have a father. As much as you love your family, please still tell her that your baby's dad and now that baby's not going to have it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Welcome in. Thank you for watching.
The weight of the questioning brings her down, and she's emotionally exhausted. Detectives try to take advantage of the moment, hoping her vulnerability will make her open up. But Elizabeth doesn't budge. Through tears, she keeps insisting her family is innocent. With nothing useful coming from Elizabeth, the interview ends. She's escorted out of the building, and investigators are back to square one. Still, Detective Berziaga can't shake her suspicions. She knows this family is hiding something. What she hasn't figured out yet is that she's been focusing on the wrong suspects all along. Over the next couple of months, the case remains wide open. Investigators keep digging, and what they find is even more alarming. First, they learn that Chavez never followed through with her stolen vehicle report from the day of the murder. Then, while calling for phone data, detectives uncover explicit threats from Elizabeth's older brother, Gilbert, directed at Jay. In one message, Gilbert writes he's gonna catch one, clearly hinting at plans for violence. In another text, he says, delete our messages and don't say anything about me saying I was gonna shoot him. It wasn't me for real. Enter the old cops. Based on these details, investigators start to speculate that Gilbert may have taken things further, possibly supplying a gun, or even using it himself to shoot Jay. Chavez, realizing what her sons had done, may have then disposed of the car to cover their tracks and build an alibi for the family. The new findings push Gilbert to the top of the suspect list, right beside his brother Angelo. But as compelling as the theory sounds, it's still just that. A theory. The case remains strong on suspicion, but weak on proof. And Detective Berziaga desperately needs anything concrete from the Baldonado family. So, on May 19th, 76 days after Jay's murder, Berziaga and a team of officers head to the family's house, determined to confront them face to face and see if she can pressure someone into cracking. When the investigators arrive at the door, no one expects how quickly things will get heated. Hi, Gilbert, how are you? Can I actually talk to you, Gilbert? You know what it's about because, I've already done some research. I'm not going to talk to you right now, Gilbert. Do you want to come talk to me over here? Hi, Elizabeth. Hey, how are you? Good. Okay. Is your mom here? Sure. You can have me tell you the mom that I would like to talk to her again. I will talk to Gilbert if he's willing to speak with me. And Gilbert, I don't want to talk to you right here in front of the door. You might come in. You can over here.
That's Gilbert? Girl. Girl. I had no idea. That's not the one that was at the barber. I mean, at the tattoo shop, is it? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Wow. Gilbert did it, I think. Okay, I would need to see that warrant first before I give you my phone. I got to come back.
With no luck getting anything useful from Gilbert, Detective Berziaga cleverly confiscates his phone, hoping it might hold the evidence she needs but still can't prove. As this is happening, Chavez is seen
He's silly for giving it up like that.
briefly with officers. She
Yeah.
looks like she's in a hurry to leave.
You should have had a warrant first.
Slip away. Detective
You
Berziaga
should have came to the house with the warrant.
about the boxing match she helped organize to see how she reacts when cornered. This time
Mm-hmm.
Chavez isn't the same calm, collected woman from before. What Bruciaga gets instead is a very different side of her. Can I talk to you really fast? Speaking with me. I know you're gonna be quick and all, but you know why I'm here. Okay, I don't gotta repeat myself. I don't want to repeat myself. I don't want. I suppose you can get that. I don't you didn't remove your card. So I think so why did you set up a fight between Angelo and Swift? Yes, you did. Stupid things going on because poisonous wasn't gonna let me alone. Like I said, I found phone. I already know when you called it in. You never fully followed through. I did. I waited for you. Okay, do you have the title to the vehicle? In the vehicle. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like I cannot give anyone permission to get in the vehicle. I think it's not connected. You've had the car since before January. Yeah, and I also say for you know how much money it takes just for me to stay for just a little bit of a few things. Well, I'm gonna tell you something, okay? When I charge someone, you're gonna be charged along because I know you're finding the truth and I know you're listening to me, and it would suck for Aurora and Elizabeth's baby to not be pregnant, for you not to be pregnant, because I will charge you because I do know you were gonna settle that fight that day.
That's crazy.
I got it off your daughter's phone. Goodbye. Clearly, Chavez is beyond talking as she storms off the scene, angry and defensive. But in her frustration, she lets something slip, admitting that she knew about the fight between Jay and her sons. Though she insists it was all Jay's idea. Before leaving the house, Bruciaga tries once more to speak with Elizabeth to see if she's finally ready to tell the truth. How you been, Elizabeth? What? Are you still pregnant? Yeah. How far along are you? For my menstrual cycle, she said 14 weeks and 8 weeks. So, you know, we talked last time, and I know you were very upset. And I can't imagine what you're going through because you're kind of put in between. But I already know you know what happened. Just hate. And it's so like, don't believe that you weren't involved. You know, it would just hate to find out you were involved. And then we're going to maybe go because you know your husband. There was a witness that describes a female matching your exact description talking about a celebrity before he gets shot. It was at that house. Do you realize how close you live? Elizabeth, listen to me. Like, parents have people walking on the street. You're not going to change my mind because, I mean, is it weird that she lives here and she knows nothing?
You don't care about your baby or anything else. She doesn't look pregnant.
Elizabeth repeating the same story as before, and At the same time, Jay was killed, directly contradicting his earlier alibi that he was home with his mother. With this new evidence, a warrant is secured for Angelo's arrest, and Murcielago returns to the Baldonado residence, just as she promised. That afternoon, 16-year-old Angelo Baldonado is arrested and charged with murder. Now, with the prime suspect finally in custody, police have the chance to interview him without his mother intervening. Murcielago hopes this will be the moment they get to close the case for good. But to her surprise, Angelo isn't about to make that easy, because this time, he has an escape plan of his own.
Can't ask him questions because he requested his mom. I thought it was that way with a lawyer. Oh, it's with the mom too. Oh, because he's a minor. Got you.
Refuses to speak without his mother or a lawyer present.
Well, he's smart.
Cooperation and no confession. There is nothing more detectives can do.
His mom knew this was coming though. She was like, when you get there,
Without bond, while prosecutors prepare to take the case to trial. For now, he's the only family member
you
officially
get
touched the
there, you
crime.
don't say nothing.
Investigators believe they finally got Jay's killer behind bars. But what no one has caught on to yet is that Angelo isn't the one who pulled the trigger. He's just a scapegoat.
It was that one. The bottom.
Still free.
Oh, his mama too. Yeah.
Passes since Jay was tragically killed. His pregnant girlfriend, Elizabeth Baldonado, gives birth to his son in November 2022. Her social media posts show a young woman trying to rebuild her life, sharing photos of her baby, spending time with friends, and preparing to move on in a new relationship. On the surface, life is slowly returning to normal. Meanwhile, her brother Angelo remains in juvenile detention awaiting trial. The case, it seems, closed, and Jay's family begins to find closure, believing justice has finally been served. That is, until out of nowhere, police receive a phone call that changes everything. In March of 2023, a woman contacts detectives claiming she's been talking to Elizabeth's older brother Gilbert on Facebook. And according to her, he's just confessed to knowing exactly who killed Jay that day.
That's dummy. Oh, so you right. The mama. Ooh. Mm.
Needless to say, Gilbert's confession changes everything.
And he
Detectives always
texts this.
suspected Chavez
Wow.
involvement in arranging a boxing fight. One imagines she was the one who pulled the trigger. Investigators begin to theorize that Chavez may have orchestrated the entire thing, luring Jay to the alley under the guise of a fight with her son, only to end it herself with a single shot to the head.
I'm a little warm too. Are you?
Sounds like a breakthrough.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna turn that air on. I thought it was just me.
Now, based only on Gilbert's secondhand confession, could jeopardize the entire case. Without solid evidence, Chavez will be innocent in the eyes of the law.
I thought it was because I had this hoodie on, but I'm like,
Investigators
okay.
work quietly, monitoring jail calls between Chavez and her son Angelo. Most of the conversations are vague, small talk, cautious wording. But in one of the calls, Chavez makes an interesting statement. When Angelo asks why his brother Gilbert looks sad, Chavez replies, "He's heartbroken you're in there. I told him it's because I've hooked up, because I'm stupid. Period." Hearing what sounds like an admission of guilt, Detective Bruciaga seizes the opportunity and visits Angelo at the detention center, hoping this time she can finally get the truth. When she meets with him, she doesn't have to do much convincing, because Angelo is already prepared to make a deal and save himself. After Angelo agrees to cooperate, detectives quickly arrange a formal interview with him, and as attorney present, Angelo ends up corroborating his brother Gilbert's confession, confirming that it was his mother who pulled the trigger and drove away from the scene.
Wow.
The son is telling the same story. There's only one crucial piece missing to
Nope.
solve the case: a confession from Chavez
Yep.
herself,
That's crazy.
about her own words. The defense could
She
argue
probably
that the
telling
boys
him,
are
"Oh, you go to
lying, but their
juvie,
statements
and
are
they'll only give
worse.
you this. But if they get me, I'm doing life." Yep. Made him feel bad.
Detective Bruciaga brings her into an interrogation room determined to secure an admission. Not through confrontation this time, but through empathy. If the plan works, they'll finally close the case for good. But if Chavez sees through it, the interview will be over before it even begins.
Because she knows she wrong. Hi, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Unfortunately, things don't go according to plan. The moment Chavez realizes where the conversation is heading, she immediately shuts down the interview and asks for a lawyer. From here on, it's up to the court to decide whether the evidence against her is enough to prove what everybody already suspects. In the trial, prosecutors present the full scope of the case: phone records, surveillance footage of Chavez's car, a bunch of confessions, and the jail call recordings. They argue that Chavez disapproved of the relationship between her daughter and Jay, and was motivated by anger over how he treated her. They also believe she calculated that her teenage son would face lighter consequences if he took the blame. As for her other children, Elizabeth and Gilbert, investigators determined that neither had any direct role in the shooting. Elizabeth, in particular, is found to have had no knowledge of her mother's deadly intentions. She withheld some information to protect her family, but was ultimately determined to be a victim caught in the middle. Eventually, Angelo Baldonado pleads guilty to conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and assault with intent to commit a felony, and is sentenced to remain in juvenile detention until age 21. His mother, Chavez, pleads guilty to second-degree murder and, in May 2025, receives the maximum penalty of 18 years in state prison. Chavez is also facing a separate charge related to child exploitation material found on her tablet during an investigation.
What? What was that? Child exploitation. Girl, what is mama got going on?
Police officers just found an abandoned car in the middle of the forest. They don't know anything, but in a few minutes, this very car will lead them to the most horrifying discovery of their lives. Hey, look at this.
Oh, oh no.
Less than a mile away, under a pile of leaves, officers find a deceased, decomposing body of a missing mother. But in the days that follow
No.
this gruesome discovery, what starts as a search for one woman's killer quickly unravels into a decades-long trail of domestic crimes, dozens of victims, and a sadistic serial offender who's been slipping through the cracks for the past 20 years. She went out with somebody last night.
Wow. People are crazy. But with a background like that, I wouldn't even want to be around you anyway.
Approximately 25 minutes after receiving this missing persons 911 call, Montgomery County Sheriff's deputy is dispatched to speak with a caller regarding the disappearance of her friend, Crystal Hannah. Unknowingly, this officer is on the verge of uncovering a case that will unfold into one of the darkest investigations the town of Elliston has ever seen.
On her way to Florida? Oh, on her way home.
Yeah, she's been staying down here all the way to Braid like that. The statements provided by Crystal's friend are troubling, to say the least. But it's the combination of details that really stands out. A missing vehicle, an abusive ex, and a mysterious man Crystal went on a date with just the night before. Taken together, it paints a situation that could lead in almost any direction. With that in mind, officers quickly get to work. One heads to Crystal's home to conduct a welfare check, while another calls her daughter, Chelsea, to gather more details about the man her mother was supposedly meeting the previous night.
Mm. What if it was her ex, like catfishing her? Yeah.
With Crystal's daughter questioned, officers are now able to attach a name to her mysterious date. Matthew Thomas. Lives somewhere on 12 Road. Meanwhile, the officer sends to conduct a welfare check arrives at Crystal's home. There's the door, and her van is missing. Detectives back at the station waste no time and begin calling more of Crystal's family and friends, trying to determine whether there's any chance she may have left voluntarily. That's when they learned that 44-year-old Crystal was somewhat naive, but also kind, trusting, and dependable, which makes the idea that she would suddenly vanish, leaving behind her daughter, 3 sons, and her grandchild without any notice feel extremely unlikely. As the first day of Crystal's disappearance comes to an end, detectives know the first 24 hours are critical.
Welcome in. Thank you for joining. Look at this stupid joke.
Matthew Thomas. After digging through records and filtering through multiple people with the same name, they finally get a hold of the right one. When he picks up the phone, the conversation takes a strange turn. Matthew confirms that he wants him to
This is what happens when you buy gel from the beauty supply and put it together. Tape it up like this to deter people from stealing it, but God dog, I can't even use it.
These statements leave detectives stunned. Their strongest lead is suddenly over 100 miles away and denying everything. This doesn't sit right with the investigators. So while they begin verifying his alibi, they also start digging into the social media account Crystal had been texting, the one belonging to Matt Thomas. Given the urgency of the case, they file an emergency request for Facebook login records tied to the account. But they received IP addresses linked to every recorded login on the account, and none of these logins came back anywhere in the state of North Carolina. Instead, they all
I hate when they put the little sticker over the top.
with this discovery,
You
detectives
literally
are left facing an
can't
interesting
get it off.
possibility.
See?
The man Crystal thought she was talking to may have never been Matthew Thomas at all. It may have been someone impersonating him. With that theory in mind,
Yep, catfish.
request Crystal's phone location data, and when it comes back, it starts to confirm exactly what they feared. Because the vital beep from Crystal's phone comes in at 9:50 a.m. on a stretch of road called Peddler Road, just 3 miles away from the home of Crystal's ex-boyfriend, James Hunter Stollard. What makes this discovery even more unsettling is that impersonation like this doesn't just happen in murder cases. It can happen to anyone, because in today's world, your personal data, your name, location, contact info, it's all out there, scattered across the internet, quietly collected and sold by data brokers, often without you ever knowing. I recently searched a friend's name and was shocked at how much came up. Even old photos with his relatives were available online for anyone to find or purchase. These data brokers rely on one thing: that you won't do anything about it, and you'll keep blindly accepting terms and conditions and using services that collect your data in the background. But with this video's sponsor, Aura, you can fight back. Aura scans its massive database of data brokers for your info and takes immediate action to get it removed. And they don't just stop there. Aura works around the clock to protect your privacy and continually monitors these sites to make sure your data stays off and alerts you if it ever reappears. There are other companies that offer data removal, but Aura goes way beyond just that, offering a complete package of privacy-related services, something no other company can match. So if you want to protect yourself and your loved ones, go to aura.com/Dr. Insanity to try Aura free for 14 days, or simply click the link in the description to start Aura's automatic scrubbing of your personal information from its data broker sites.
Hey guys, sorry. That's all.
Detectives decide not to
In
waste
order
any
to
time.
get this open. This is
They
crazy.
head straight to Kansas' house, hoping Crystal might be there.
This is crazy, y'all. Easy work.
Something about her disappearance, a mysterious date she had the night before. But as the detectives arrive, they approach the house with unusual caution, almost as if they've already learned enough about James to know the situation could turn dangerous.
Hey, Candy, can I borrow a razor? I cannot get this stupid. They put the sticker right in the middle. Yeah. Dang. Okay. I didn't even see that. Okay. Thank you. Say hi to my YouTube. So he did catfish her. Mhm. That's like that's the scariest thing because that means you're a patient killer. Because you had to create this profile, finding some pictures that I would probably like, right? So he knew her. He probably created multiple pages to see which one she bite off of. Yep. One of them days.
When confronted with Crystal's phone location data, James appears genuinely caught off guard, claiming he knows nothing about it and struggles to recall the last time he saw Crystal. However, given the late hour, his calm demeanor, and willingness to let officers search the house, nothing immediately seems suspicious. And as they prepare to search the home, they aren't aware of how much more involved he is than he's letting on.
I love your nails. Did you get them done or you got press ons? Oh, really? Girl, I love them. You got from Amazon? Model One. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Girl. I've been hearing so much about press ons. I haven't tried them yet. Wow. Yeah. And you just file them a little bit. Okay. Okay, because that's how much I paid in the salon. Okay, $80.
As the first day of Crystal's disappearance comes to an end, detectives Wednesday
Yeah, because I'm getting my nails done every 2 weeks
idea of where Crystal is.
because they grow so fast. But with those, I can just cut my nails down and throw those on. Dang. Okay. Blue. It comes with it, or you get it. You buy it. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Uh-huh.
Officers realize this
Okay.
isn't just a simple case of getting a vehicle, because this very car belongs to no one
Yeah.
else.
And then also, if you got like real small hands, small fingers.
To secure the area and search for
Hmm.
any sign of Crystal, they split into groups.
Yes, I'm gonna try those out because
Two officers notice
they do be taxing.
notes on the car.
And literally, my nails only last 2 weeks anyway.
Ground. Without hesitation, they
And
follow
then by the time the 2 weeks come, my nails have grown out. And then it's catching the hair, right? And all that. So sometimes I have to go in prematurely because I can't braid like that.
just 100 yards
And
from
that's the
Crystal's
exact
home.
shape. And then, when you go to the nail shop, you be wanting your nails like short. Like I be wanting mine really short because I type and then I braid too. So I be wanting them short, but they still make them longer. They act like they can go low. Like, girl, look at lower. I just got these on and see, he's like, that's the lowest I can do. I was like, I guess I can do, but I'm like, dang, just a little bit. Can you bow it down? Yeah. Yeah, but this little design, okay, just a little French with a little design, $80. Easy. Yeah.
Beginning to form. And as the forensic team continues their work, first drawn to the head and circulation. Chaos
Okay.
drastically changes. This has become a homicide investigation. As officers and the forensic team
Okay.
continue securing the area, theories about Crystal's death begin to form. She was trusting an independent lighting team with the possibility that she was
Oh,
catfishing
my permanent glue.
someone
Okay.
at Knotless. Investigators
Uh huh.
believe she may have been lured and killed.
And then how do you take them off?
Collect evidence and secure the scene. Men arrives claiming to
With the acetone? Okay.
Crystal's body was discovered. At first, nothing seems out of the ordinary.
Oh, okay.
In reality,
Uh
this
huh.
likely knows the person
Okay.
responsible for Crystal's death. He just doesn't know it yet.
Okay. Hmm. Oh, it's been 2 weeks. Wow. It looks like brand new. Dang. Okay. No. Okay. For real. Can you send me that name? The name of the nails. Yeah.
The initial
And the
conversation
semi
with
permanent.
authorities
Just
raises
text me semi permanent.
suspicions.
Don't forget.
Detectives have just spoken to James's stepfather. This will soon give
Yeah, I'm
James
gonna
an
have to try that.
unexpected
I've been
advantage.
hearing about it too much. I think that's a sign, girl.
His involvement in
Oh,
Crystal's
hmm, for real.
reaches Crystal's family. Even so, investigators still need to speak with Crystal's daughter and anyone who might have insight into who could want Crystal dead. So
Yeah, I think I went and got my nails done and my feet done, and with the tip and everything. I think it came to like almost like 160 or something like that. Yeah, just for that. And that was 2 weeks. Dang. I like that too. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I like those. Oh, so he was real toxic to her. Dang. Mm-mm. You touch my kids, it's over. And they charge super extra for that color and stuff in there because they say it's something special. Oh, dang. $5 right now. I'm like, give me one nail, sir. Just give me, just do one. Okay, just do one nail.
Investigators rushed to his house, already suspecting the reason behind it. With Crystal's body now discovered, James knows he's likely becoming one of the main suspects. So when he hears from his stepfather that the body has been found, he decides to solve the case in the most unexpected way.
I seen her face before. I must have saw a post or something. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Got the nerve to be crying. Ugh. Just irritating. Ugh.
James confesses to killing Crystal. Whatever detectives were expecting to hear, it probably wasn't an outright confession, especially after he had successfully deceived them the day before. To investigators, it appears as if James's guilt and remorse have finally caught up to him, pushing him to confess to the murder. However, this will soon turn out to be a part of his new strategy, one meant to minimize the weight of his crime and gain empathy with a single goal: shifting blame and reducing his charges to the minimum, something investigators will soon discover he has managed to accomplish many times before. For now, though, James is detained and placed in the back of a patrol car before being transported to the police department for a formal interrogation. But before pursuit begins, the lead detective takes time to prepare. He finds out that James's history of domestic abuse dates as far back as 2004. Over the years, he's been involved in multiple cases involving girlfriends, including felonious assaults, aggravated malicious wounding, and repeated violent behavior. In 2013, James even assaulted his own mother during an argument over a chainsaw, calling her slurs before knocking her to the ground and forcing her face into the dirt.
Oh, wow.
Got into a confrontation with Crystal's daughter and managed to manipulate the situation so thoroughly that he was documented as the victim in the police report. Facing only minor incidents, it becomes clear that James is a skilled manipulator,
Yeah.
and that his relationships are defined by control and abuse. That impression only deepens when detectives speak with Crystal's co-workers, and it becomes clear that Crystal was no exception. By now, the detective understands exactly who he's dealing with: a highly manipulative, violent man with a documented history of abuse and a pattern of evading accountability.
Mm-hmm. Y'all broken up. Yeah, and if she left you in March, that mean y'all broke up. She can date whoever she wants. That if I can't have you, no one can. Type stuff. Mm. Mm. We don't either. No idea. Just lock him up. I don't even need to see his interview. He playing the victim for real after he just killed somebody. Yeah. Mm.
Just as detectives anticipated, James tries to cast himself as the victim. But unfortunately for him, detectives have already done their homework and know exactly who they're dealing with. So they stay calm and act understanding. Because what matters most now is getting James to provide as many details as possible about the day of Crystal's death. However, while investigators prepared for more manipulation attempts,
Yeah.
James is about to do the exact opposite.
Nope. Those detectives, they really be having to have like emotional intelligence and stuff. 'Cause I'll be out there. They be like, Detective Charles, we need you to just go back to the station and do some desk work. I'm like, no, no, this ain't right. No, he buried her in the woods. They're like, ma'am. Especially, those small little towns, you be knowing everybody too. Mm-mm. Love her to death, huh? Literally. Hey, welcome in. Thanks for watching. Thank you for the likes, guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you for supporting my channel.
Surprisingly, James drops his attempts to manipulate the facts and gives detectives a clear account of the murder. At first, it appears as if James has given up trying to escape justice, but that impression does not last, because James is about to try something that he thinks will buy him time and help him minimize the consequences of his actions.
Right. Oh, now he taking medicine. Yeah, he got everything. ADHD.
With James raising concerns about his mental state and requesting a psychiatrist, the interrogation comes to an end. He's placed in jail while awaiting a court-ordered mental evaluation, gaining time to prepare his act before any future questioning takes place. Meanwhile, the investigators still have some work to do. They work on confirming Matthew Thomas's alibi, and when they do so, he's officially ruled out as a suspect, eliminating any uncertainties about his Evaluator finds no signs that James is mentally unfit to stand trial, concluding that he understands the charges against him and was
Right.
fully aware of his actions during Crystal's murder. With that, James's final strategy fails, and the case continues to progress. Investigators try to determine whether James was the one impersonating Matt Thomas, but based on the available reports, it remains unclear. James, meanwhile, sticks to his claim that Crystal willingly came to his house at 1 a.m. and that no force was involved. The investigation concludes that Crystal was murdered around 9 a.m. on June 5th. After spending the night at James's house, she was getting ready for work when James took her phone and discovered messages with another man she had been talking to. From there, he lost his temper. The argument quickly escalated into a physical confrontation, during which James repeatedly struck Crystal and ultimately choked her after knocking her unconscious. Almost a year later, on August 18th, 2023, despite James's continued efforts to delay proceedings and deflect responsibility, he is convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison.
This him? Oh.
It's Joseph. His deteriorating relationship with his wife, Lauren, is slowly ruining his life.
Okay. I hate when people do that. Oh. I'm driving and I'm crying. Okay, let's say that. Sorry. What? Uh, uh. Why is he on live? I just. Girl.
Could only bear the pain for so long. His complex emotions turned into obsession, leading him to stalk Lauren, where he soon discovered she was going on dates with other men. Eventually, enough was enough. Good night, Lauren. Hope you sleep well.
Wow.
On the night of January 7th, 2018, Lauren DeWise be found dead in her bedroom. It was confirmed that Paul was responsible.
Shadow with a what?
Shot a roommate.
Oh, roommate.
Is that Paul recorded his entire mental downfall from the start of his issues with Lauren all the way to the tragic end. For the past 6 months, I've worked with a handful of police stations, district attorneys, and news networks to gather the entire recorded life of Joseph Paul.
He posting this. This is the signs. You know what I mean? Like, this is the signs. Because I'm going to call you right away. Girl, did you see what your husband posted yesterday? Right. Exactly. Something wrong.
Relationship problems, but also Paul's dark tendency of self-hatred.
Mm. Mhm. 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 People like that, I'd be like, why you just didn't kill yourself? Why you kill her and then right, just take you.
Because after this incident, Lauren would leave their home, stating, "I'll only return for the kids." In the letter, it's clear that Paul felt immense guilt for screaming in front of his children, perhaps even more than most would. And there's a very good reason for that. In his journal, Paul would often write about
Them journals too.
he described
Mhm.
walking in mother, her face turning purple from the strangulation. Perhaps Paul felt he had followed in his father's footsteps by becoming aggressive towards Lauren in front of their children, something that likely embarrassed him. But instead of apologizing for his outburst, he chose a different path. He would begin manipulating his children, convincing them that he had done nothing wrong, even going as far as recording
Dang.
these statements to show Lauren later on. How do you feel about what happened with Lauren? Angry, sad.
Crazy.
I'm upset, but
Oh.
I don't understand. It's overwhelming. The
What
damage
was
that
he
I'm
doing with
feeling,
these recordings?
it is. Honestly, everything was fine until she decided that she wanted to
Is that
pursue
not their mom? Because she just called her Lauren. Hmm. Oh, okay. She said mama. Okay. Wow.
Lauren had moved out of the house, and Paul's attempts at manipulation only pushed her further away. In turn, his abandonment issues worsened, spiraling into paranoia over the thought of Lauren falling in love with someone else. There are numerous examples of Paul's paranoia, but certain examples are particularly notable. One thing Paul would consistently do over these years was send
For real.
relentless barrages of
It
text
is wild.
messages. They would usually start out in a calm, collected way. I respected you, and so did the community. You were someone else. You weren't building love in a family anymore. Mostly insecurity, frustration, and sadness. I would quickly spiral into unintelligible rants of self-hatred and aggressive accusations. Now I'm depressed again. How can you not care? How can you make me deal with this by myself? Why won't you save us? Say again. You can't start
Yeah.
to
If you are in Phoenix, Arizona, I work with all types of hair, all types of textures.
my body is broken. My
Uh,
wife doesn't care about me except her.
yeah, you could
You
definitely do
are
braids.
abusive. I'm crazy now. Great job. Always ending with some type of accusatory comment, likely to make Lauren feel guilt over not being there for him. Another thing he would regularly do was contact people in Lauren's life. One notable example would be towards Lauren's female coworker, who Paul suspected to be bisexual. I would appreciate it if you would stay away from my wife. You are not any plans for her, and she's acting like a single woman. I do not trust you because I reached out to you and you ignored me. My wife needs family-oriented friends, not friends that married people are friends enough to handle the crisis. False messages to Lauren and her friends continued for months, growing increasingly emotional over time. Lauren would rarely respond. Reading his diaries, it's clear this deeply upset Paul. He felt he was losing the woman he loved. Desperate for a reaction, he soon turned to sending her videos instead, hoping that would finally grab her attention.
Mm, 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 mm. After you done turned the kids against me, got them calling me by my first name.
I'll be here. I'll be working all the time. Just come home. Please. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was so angry. I have a new perspective now.
You
Paul's
do?
emotional swings indicate a deep fear of abandonment, likely stemming from his childhood. With Lauren, he was angry and controlling. Without her, he was desperate and self-pitying. When she responded, it would briefly ease his distress, but unfortunately for Paul, Lauren would stop responding altogether.
Yeah, I would too.
Number 14, Paul's worst
But she
fear
just left
of
the kids too. I don't
abandonment.
know.
He would discover the rumors that Lauren had started going out again, and later that
Yeah.
same week, he signed up for facing
Exactly.
his
That's
dating
true.
services and registered
Love you, Lauren.
Paul would start stalking her.
That's what it seemed like he would have them kids saying, because,
Bars she would go to and
this is
store them away
horrible.
to confront her with later. But on November 14th, things took a dark turn when, while stalking her, Paul discovered Lauren in her car with a co-worker named Kevin making out. It seemed to confirm his deep fear of being abandoned as he stood there watching it all unfold.
And call her making out in the car?
Paul to
That's,
rush in and let
what are we
Lauren know
doing?
he
We
saw
grown.
him.
We overgrown. We making out in cars at work on lunch break. It's just crazy. Oh, he
Paul would
recording
go
it
home
too.
to take Lauren's
Okay.
phone
You know
because
it's
Kevin had already gotten angry messages. However, eventually, Lauren would escape the situation. Approximately 22 hours after this had taken place, Paul would find Lauren with a different man.
mm.
The two were simply co-workers, but Paul wasn't going to take any chances. So again, he would go up to the car, this time confronting the man. Absolutely Lauren took
In the break room at work. I mean, like, where y'all in these cars? Oh, yep.
furious. However, instead of begging Lauren to get back together, he would ask her to grab her final
Or
belongings from
took
the
his, or
house
took the
and
son
never
phone, put it in the
come
car,
back.
and had a recording.
This was a sharp distinction from the previous weeks and even months. It seemed like Paul's ongoing desperation for Lauren had bizarrely turned into hatred.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren would oblige and go on to take her items from the house, but Paul wouldn't stop there. The next morning, he would take to Facebook, making a public post stating, "Anyone involved in gives me away. She is the best liar I have ever known." Paul had turned to retaliation, and his video recordings made that clear. Here's me speaking. I wasted a very upset about shit for years. He didn't realize it because I was blind. And that's what this is about. Making me angry. Making your children angry. Making my babies angry. And it's hard for me to live with. It's very difficult. It means I'm not shutting you down. But husband, there's all these young 30-somethings with tons of money that Lauren's chasing. She loves that. And she's going to step up from me and our family and get ahead. I'm angry. I don't want her to keep her job. I don't like to protect her. I'm sure I'll, yes, now because,
He wanted to come back and not work, not do nothing, so he can be secure. Yep, control everything and be secure that she ain't kissing nobody else.
his chronic alcoholism, which only worsened his anger issues. At one point, even telling Lauren's friend at a local bar, quote, "I've killed people before, and I'm not afraid to do it again."
Okay, sir.
The final straw in Paul's downward spiral came in an incident completely unrelated to Lauren. While out walking with his daughter, Paul would begin threatening a homeowner whose dogs were barking at him from behind a fence. When the man confronted him, enraged Paul pulled out a pocket knife and stabbed him in the hip. And Paul would record the entire event. We just got attacked by these people's dogs. This is my baby. Did you think that dog was gonna get you? I did too.
Oh my goodness. Manipulating them babies. Yeah, he is wrong for this.
My knife to defend myself against this man who took me down with a single leg takedown. As the last resort, my back is on the floor. I struck up the knife. I struck the man. Pull the dog away.
Right. You put that knife away.
You okay, baby? I'm so sorry.
Oh my goodness. This dude is ridiculous. What's it, the police? Oh. No. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And he do all this in front of her. And then involve her in it. Wow. Yeah, and he said, I'm so sorry. That's okay. What?
On January 6th, 2018, at 11:56 a.m., Paul would text Lauren inviting her over for some soup. Lauren would never reply. At 3:36 p.m., Paul would text Lauren asking if they were still meeting for tomorrow. Lauren would reply, "What for? I'd like to pick up my daughter and spend time with her." This seemed to upset Paul, so he would go on his, by this point, usual rant to Lauren, sending messages such as, "I beg you, please don't destroy us. I love you, and will do whatever it takes." Hours later, at 10:58 p.m., Lauren would reply, "No, thank you." A 2-hour gap would proceed with no text messages between the two. However, Paul was completing other tasks during this time.
Like what? On Walmart?
First, Paul can be seen on CCTV at the Town Pump gas station at 12:34 a.m. Additionally, Paul would take a photo from his phone minutes after. While blurry, this photo shows Lauren's current home in the distance, as well as a GPS tracking device inside the vehicle. Following this photo, Paul would send a final text message saying,
Dude, it's
"I know I'm not supposed
crazy.
to text you now, but I can't sleep. Please, please, please come home. I miss you and love you so much. Please, I love you. We all do. Please just come home. Please."
Yeah, that's right. Oh, they both were shot. Yeah, it sounds like.
Lauren is severely wounded.
Yep. Yep.
Paul Wise as the shooter. Officers would waste no time and rush to the scene immediately.
The roommate came home. Wow. Dang. You have to clear it, but dang. I bet it was. So, it's like the time it took for the roommate to go over next door. You had to talk to 911, wait for them to get there. Oh, it probably felt like years bleeding out. Shoot.
I'm not gonna shoot you. I'm not gonna shoot you, man. Ashley, what's going on? Who shot you? Nobody. Oh, what happened? Who did? I'm the police, right here. Where are you? I'm right here. Can you see me? Where are you? I'm right here. Where? Ashley is temporarily blind with a bullet wound to the back of her head.
Dang.
Across her body.
Oh
She
my
had no idea
God.
where she was and wasn't even aware she had been shot.
Dang.
I'm the police, yes.
She can't see. It's crazy.
I'm right here.
She said, show me your face. She can't even see.
Anything? No. No? Okay.
Dang.
Ma'am, I'm right
So
here.
she didn't even know she was shot.
I'm right here. Can you feel my hand?
Oh my God.
I'm not gonna shoot you. Where do you hurt? I don't hurt anywhere. You don't hurt anywhere?
She don't even feel it.
Are you going to hurt me? No, I don't want to hurt you.
Wow.
We're gonna help you, Ashley. Ashley was not in a communicative state at this point,
Wow.
making this about as difficult a situation as you can get as a police officer. Regardless, this officer would do a heroic job of remaining calm as he continued to talk to Ashley and ensure she stayed awake. Fortunately, medical staff arrived quickly and Ashley would be rushed to the hospital. Whether or not she would survive remained to be seen. But the officer can rest assured knowing that he did everything possible to keep her alive. The other victim, Lauren, would be pronounced dead on the scene. While this is devastating, another problem still had to be solved, and solved fast, as the shooter had not yet been located.
You got the garage cleared? Yep, he cleared the garage.
Yeah, he gotta get to this fool before he do something to himself or them kids.
Bed frame? Or the mattress? Clear. It's got a man door. Can we go out that? Yeah.
I don't really care if he do something to himself, but I'd rather him go to prison.
Okay. Is there tracks going over
Yep.
the top of the fence or anything? No. Negative. How about this way? There's tracks going around the house. Okay, is our gate open?
The house was clear, meaning whoever killed Lauren had fled immediately. And while he may have gotten away, several clues would be left behind. The most obvious being a trail of bloody footprints leading from the east side of the house over to the back door. At the time, this was a small, irrelevant detail. However, this would become one of the leading pieces of evidence to solve the case later on. By nothing short of a miracle, Ashley would survive the brutal attack. She would undergo multiple emergency surgeries, fracture treatments, and blood transfusions. This was a blessing for not only Ashley and her family, but for the detectives working on the case. Because if Ashley could
And her
recall what
eyesight
had
came
happened
back.
and who shot her, solving this case would become a whole lot easier. But before we dive deeper into the case, let me tell you about today's sponsor, ShipStation. Every business owner knows the headache of juggling multiple shipping platforms.
On this one.
Especially after the
Yeah.
holidays. That's where ShipStation comes in. ShipStation brings order to the chaos by letting you manage all your shipments in one place. No more juggling between different platforms or losing track of orders. ShipStation's features guarantee you will always find the best prices across all major carriers. The intuitive dashboard puts everything at your fingertips, making order management simple and efficient. Businesses save up to 88% off of UPS, DHL Express, and USPS rates. The best part is ShipStation automates everything. Your shipping labels, tracking updates, carrier selection, and it integrates seamlessly with all your existing platforms. No matter how big your business grows, ShipStation grows with you. Calm the chaos of order fulfillment with the shipping software that delivers. Switch to ShipStation today. Go to ShipStation.com and use code INSANITY to sign up for your free trial. That's ShipStation.com, code INSANITY. Now let's get back to the video.
So, after Ashley had briefly recovered from her surgeries, detectives would sit down for a formal interview. The goal of the interview was to help her recall crucial details about the incident by asking specific, targeted questions in hopes of triggering memories that might have been buried due to the trauma.
So obviously, we're here to
That's
talk to you.
sad.
Yes, I do. And
Got to
I
go
know
through
this is
this
kind of
process.
a tough question, but can you tell me, do you remember anything at all?
When I got shot?
Mm-hmm.
No. No, I do not remember being shot at all.
Well, yeah, you're a lucky gal, but everything that I've heard, you're a fighter.
It's a miracle I'm alive. I thank God every day.
It's really a miracle.
It is.
The detective would continue asking questions for another 30 minutes, but unfortunately, Ashley was unable to answer anything whatsoever. Again, officers were left confused as to who this killer was and why this happened in the first place. Due to the lack of physical evidence, detectives decided to talk to more witnesses.
Yeah, they said it
Confirm the
was,
primary suspect.
and they said his name. Yeah.
The neighbor who called for help had reported Paul as the potential
Yeah,
killer
Paul.
during the
Yeah.
911 call. So with this in mind, officers decided it was imperative to speak with Audrey to better understand why she would make these claims. And she would waste no time.
Yeah, because she didn't see nobody, so why would she say it was Paul? Yeah. So that's probably why they couldn't go pick him up.
Okay.
Well, she actually worked out at my gym. I'm a personal trainer at Big Sky Barbell, and she had come in one day and I saw a bruise on her, and I remember saying, "Dude, what happened to your leg?" And she said, "Oh, I just ran into something." And I said, "100-mile-an-hour softball? What happened to your leg?" She just dismissed it. And a couple months later, the ball game, and she said, they had lived here about a year, and she said, "I can't believe I never told anybody this, but I think I need to leave Paul. He beats me all the time."
Mm-hmm.
And he used to contact me every day. And one day would be, "You ruined my life," to, "I can't believe you're helping my wife," to, "I'm so sorry, this is all my fault. This has nothing to do with you. You did nothing wrong." I mean, he's got a schizophrenic chain of messages that I never responded to.
So she got proof too.
Yesterday, it's actually been how she went over to his house for her their daughters. She had a 3-year-old daughter. She turned 4 on Thursday.
Audrey was well aware Paul was an abusive and psychotic husband prior to Lauren's death. Based on Audrey's claims, her suspicion of Paul's involvement would only grow stronger.
I left last night around 9. She just got out of the bath and she actually said something to me like, "I'm just so happy here. I feel safer than I felt in years." And I remember leaving her. I left about 9:30. And I got home this morning, got home early. And when I woke up, I looked down and my back porch frame, 2 pieces of wood were laying on the floor. And I ran upstairs to see if Laura was okay. She was not okay. I literally the door had been propped open, she was sleeping, but I walked out and I scared my miss. I didn't walk at all. I just looked at her and it's really good. I thought I was there, but I didn't even like Ray went through that shot because he has like a bicyclist pulled him over, cut him off, got close to the traffic once. He told him to pull a bicycle. He pulled more for him. Or he got banned from Airbnb. He pulled his Airbnb gas.
Yeah.
Based on Ashley's claims, Paul was not only an abuser, but also notoriously threatened people with the same weapon used to kill Lauren. It was becoming more and more clear that Paul was who detectives ultimately needed to speak with. Safely getting Paul to the police station for questioning was something that needed to be done with extreme precaution. Whoever killed Lauren was armed with a .22 caliber pistol, and if Paul was responsible, a dangerous scenario could occur if police contacted him directly. So, in order to safely secure him, officers devised a complex plan for his arrest. Paul's house would be heavily surveyed the day of the arrest. The moment Paul left his house, the surveillance team would notify the arrest team of his direction of travel. In order to leave his neighborhood, Paul would have to exit either to the west on South 19th Avenue or east on South 3rd Avenue. Units would be blocking both streets, and a high-risk felony stop would be used to take DeWise into custody. With this plan, officers were granted an arrest warrant for Paul, and immediately the operation would go underway. At 9 a.m. the next day, Paul would exit his house in his Chevrolet Suburban. He'd turn west onto South 19th Avenue, where an officer would be waiting for him, and quickly pull the vehicle over.
Okay, go ahead and get out. Listen. Get out. Hands up. Hands up. Walk over here. Turn around. Look away from me. Walk backwards. Keep coming. Keep coming. Stop. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Do not move. Do you understand me? Take him to the back of my car. All right.
The plan had worked perfectly, and Paul was quickly brought to the Bozeman police station for his first formal interrogation. At this point, Paul knows exactly why he's here. His wife had been found murdered. He also knows that, logically, an innocent man wouldn't have that kind of information in the first place. What makes this interrogation particularly interesting is that, despite knowing this, Paul subconsciously steers the conversation towards his wife.
Hi, Paul. My name's Justin. I'm at the Dogger Police Department.
Okay.
Sorry. Heather.
Remember, at this point, there has been no mention of Lauren whatsoever.
What do you do for work?
I'm just staying home dad for a while.
The hardest job there is.
Had a couple of accidents and I ended up getting switching roles and I'm just staying home.
Yeah.
I'm going through transition right now though, so
Is that right?
yeah. So,
What kind of transition?
we're separated.
Oh.
And in fact she was supposed to get a baby today.
No.
So it's been tough. I hurt my knee back in June and we had a lot of problems since then and I had surgery in August and it's just it caused a lot of problems.
The detectives still haven't mentioned Lauren.
I've had a bunch of injuries in the last few years and she's pissed off at me about that.
Was it work related? I don't know what you do before you stayed at home.
Well, I was a school teacher for 13 years outside in Montana.
Here?
No, in school, Florida.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I have a biology degree. Yeah. That's how my wife and I met.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we both taught next door to each other. Yeah. She liked my coffee.
Once again, Paul brings up his wife unprompted. While this is interesting, it's not enough to serve as evidence, so the detectives decide it's time to apply more pressure.
So, the reason that I wanted to
You better not
talk to
start
is
crying
some
either.
issues that happened over at Lauren's house this morning, and I just kind of wanted to touch base with you to see if you were over there at all, if kind of where you
He told what
were,
happened.
this morning, that kind of thing. Well, someone broke into the back door of her place. And so, from what I understand, you guys were separated and working on a divorce. That's kind of where we're at.
Sure, right?
Well, not really. She isn't. Well, the person that came in ended up
The
shooting
act is crazy.
her. So,
She's
yeah.
dead. She's dead.
So that's why we're talking about going through divorce, and from what I understand, and that's, we need to kind of figure out what's going on.
This seems to me. I don't know anything about it.
Well, let me just say right off the bat, regardless of your relational issues, I understand. Lauren's very important to you. And I'm so sorry that you're going through this right now.
This dead.
Yeah, let's say for
He's been granted, right?
We gotta We gotta look at the big picture.
They were never to. I'm asking you to give us any information that you can about anything, whether it was you or not.
It's hard to tell whether Paul is genuinely anxious over his wife's passing, or if he's simply putting on a convincing act, panicking, not over grief, but over the realization that the detectives are closing in on him. Notably, Paul would quickly regain his composure and instead redirects the conversation towards Lauren, quickly painting himself as a victim of her actions.
What's your team? You ever had panic problems? I never had it before. Never. I didn't know what a real panic attack was like.
Just since you got here.
No, it's since we started going through this crap. You know, it started in like July. She's going through like a midlife crisis, and
Oh, she
you
wasn't.
know, she's staying gone. She's coming home late and drunk. I caught her cheating.
Yeah.
2 days in a row with 2 different people in the car. You know, and the second time I asked her to leave.
While Paul may think that painting her in a bad light is a smart move, in
It's
reality,
not.
it only establishes that he had a strong motive for revenge. At this point, the detectives decide it's time to start constructing a timeline, hoping to pin Paul to a version of events they can systematically dismantle.
So, is there anything you can think of? Anything that would help us at all?
I can't think right now.
Let's just start with a basic timeline. So start with, let's say, what you do during a normal day. Yesterday was Saturday, right?
Right.
So when you woke up, were your other kids already awake?
No.
Were they all 3 still asleep? Or you said
Jim for
okay, the teenagers were in bed?
Mm-hmm.
That's what teenagers do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing exciting. I was just in my chair all day.
Okay. And I think I'm going to Walmart or go out to eat or anything like that. No trips outside.
The detective asks this question because they have CCTV footage placing Paul at a gas station at 12:34 a.m. By outright denying that he left his home, it's clear that
You're
Paul
lying.
is lying. However, when detectives ask the question minutes later, Paul realizes they might be setting up a trap and changes his story.
So if I'm understanding correctly, you didn't leave your house pretty much at all yesterday? Not last night? Certainly not after dinner? What time do you think you went to bed?
Gosh, I didn't actually think about. I went and got a 6-pack of beer on Monday. It's kind of fun.
Going back to the timeline last night, you went to the town pump to get a 6-pack beer. And both of your oldest were still up. And
Actually, my son with
oh, your son moved. Okay. And you guys were gone from your house as what? That'd be 15, 20 minutes, maybe?
honestly. If you get the light, maybe it's 5 tops.
Oh.
The fact that Paul's son, Joseph, was with him on that trip is actually a crucial detail. Detectives now have another potential key witness who can prove or disprove Paul's movements that day. However, while this interview establishes that Paul has both a motive and a timeline that aligns with Lauren's murder, it's not enough evidence for detectives to make an arrest. For now, they have no choice but to let Paul go. While this is unfortunate and potentially dangerous, they were able to obtain one of Paul's belongings, his iPhone. Quickly, officers discovered that Paul was in fact at Lauren's house the day of the murder by locating a photo Paul took in front of her house just hours before her death. By combining Paul's claim that he was with his son that night with phone data placing him at Lauren's house, a crucial question can be made. Did Paul's son, Joseph, also go into Lauren's house the night she was murdered? If what Paul said during the interrogation is true, then Joseph should have been with Paul the entire night, which would include going to Lauren's house. This is a question that detectives needed to solve, and solve fast.
Yeah.
As both detectives
But knowing him,
and could cause further damage if the case were to come to a standstill. So, a few hours later, Paul's son, Joseph, would be brought to the interrogation room. The plan for this interrogation was very straightforward. Simply get a timeline for where Joseph was the day of his stepmom's death and see if Joseph will admit to him, or at least his father, going to Lauren's house that night.
Yeah. Then just definitely go find the chair chatter out there. My name's Jeremy Coughlin, Deputy Sergeant for the Sheriff's Office. Okay. Obviously, you know what happened there. Given that, then I need to be able to sit down and be able to talk to you. Right. And let's go to Saturday and just walk me through Saturday. So Saturday, I got up around like maybe 12-ish, around 12. Is that kind of typical? On the weekends or no? Usually get up around like 10 maybe. Okay. And then I know you got to the best, so we usually work on Saturday with all of them. Mm-hmm. We were all in the trailer. Mm-hmm. But we were kind of sick. We might actually working here because I was kind of run down. Mm-hmm. So we just hung out all day. We were up later than we should have been. And then we stayed up for a while. And then 12 came around. And then me and my dad went on a beer run. I went with him to the town pump. Okay. By Albertsons. Okay. And so he got a 6-pack of Weedy Ranger. Oh, what kind of IPA Weedy Ranger? Weedy Ranger. Okay.
Joseph's timeline is almost identical to that of both his father and sister, who was also interviewed. This is troubling because the detective knows the story is a lie. At some point during that time frame, Paul went to Lauren's house. That means someone isn't telling the truth. The detective would notice this and pivot, starting to ask some more direct questions to Joseph.
Yes. Yeah. You hang with your dad quite a bit. Yeah. You just get pretty tight. Yeah. So we just are not saying. But we do. Yeah. Okay.
You know your child manipulated if they go with their dad to kill their mom and then cover for him. Yeah.
So you don't recall hearing doors or anything open when you go to bed? Right. Nobody contacts you or anything? Okay.
Despite the detective's tries, Joseph doesn't seem to budge on his story. Additionally, the suspicion that he could have been implicated in Lauren's murder at this point is fairly long-winded, so the detective decides it's best to not confront Joseph any further until more factual evidence can prove he's lying. Luckily, that evidence wouldn't take long to present itself. Remember the bloody footprints found in the snow in Lauren's backyard? Well, a few days after the initial interviews, detectives began analyzing the footprints to try and determine who they could be from. Immediately, detectives noticed there were 2 shoe prints in the snow, one noticeably larger than the other, meaning 2 people were implicated in Lauren's murder, one with bigger feet and one with smaller. When the prints were further analyzed, they were confirmed to be from 2 different shoe models, the Walmart Interceptor boots and the Merrill Reflex. And if we take a look at photos of Joseph taken from Paul's phone, we can see that Joseph will commonly wear the Walmart Interceptor boots.
Wow.
Additionally, if we look at the CCTV from the Town Pump gas station, we can see that Paul was wearing the Merrill Reflex.
Wow.
Paul had undoubtedly killed Lauren, and
Oh
Joseph
my
had come
goodness.
along with him. Detectives realized that Joseph was the key to all of this.
Wow.
He had been there with his father when Lauren was killed, and now they were certain of it. In his last interview, Joseph had stuck to the same timeline as his father, a timeline that investigators could now prove was a complete lie. With this leverage, detectives believed that with the right amount of pressure, they could break Joseph and force him to confess everything.
Right. Wow. He had the Walmart boots on.
Due to the intense nature of what detectives are about to do, they would bring in Joseph's biological mother, Paul's ex-wife, to
Oh, okay. So it's not their mom. Okay. That's why they call her Lauren. Right. Don't tell her the truth in this room.
So, Joe, yesterday, you and I talked
I
about
know.
what everybody had done on
Yeah.
Saturday.
And he must be old enough because his mom ain't staying in there with him, huh?
English. And Dad, they never bring up again. My dad was in the room, that is his chair, he was on the couch, and she just put her cheeks.
As the interview progressed, Joseph's timeline remained largely consistent with what he had stated the day before. The detective knew he wasn't getting the full truth, and that meant it was time to apply more pressure.
That's pretty accurate to what you told me yesterday. And I was hoping that today we could, you and I could break through that and we could talk about what actually happened. Because if I can't get you to be honest with me, I can't help you. But I'm not willing to give up on you. I think that we can get through it. I can see the weight on you. And the only way I can help is if you and I are honest with each other. Joe, I can't help. I can't do anything if you and I aren't honest with each other in here. Okay? Joe, please. Joe, okay.
It seems to be working. Slowly, Joseph's defenses are starting to crumble. At this point, all the detective can do is sit with him as the reality of the situation closes in.
Your dad chose you. He wasn't alone. I don't know. After everyone lectures, they thought I had my boots on in my own house. Joe, we've got to be honest with each other. How did your boots? They're at your residence. Those same prints end up at the crime scene. Joe, be thoughtful. Be truthful. I can't do anything if you and I can't be truthful. Was it just your dad? Thanks, Joe.
Oh, mom is in there.
Oh, she is in there?
I think she's in the corner.
Oh, okay.
Come on, say it, son.
Oh. She know her ex-husband, too.
Come on. Come on.
Son, if you feel something, just say it.
When did he leave? Did he leave you? Did he make you go? Is that why? Did you really? Was it,
Mm-hmm.
before the beer?
Why would he take him?
And then for the beer? Joe, help me understand. Help me understand that it was just him. Help me understand when he left. Help me understand why I can believe that you weren't there. Help me understand it. How far in the house did you go? Did you just wait outside? Joe, why would he frame his own son? Why would he frame his own son? Joe, who's not there? Help me tell the story. Was it you or him? Tell me. Listen. Listen. I don't know. It was what? He did. So he sent you to bed. Said he loves you, son.
don't know if you can see. My sisters didn't know.
I know, right?
The pressure had broken Joseph. After relentless questioning, he had finally come clean
Hey guys,
about
thank you
what
for
transpired
the
mere
likes.
days
Appreciate your
earlier.
support.
Months later, when the
You guys
detective
are pretty
recounted his meeting
amazing.
with Joseph, he would burst into tears, overcome by the weight of the situation.
Thank you for watching and supporting my channel.
Funny right now. Six or seven months.
My fault for letting you go. You could have ruined me.
The detectives had what they wanted, and there was nothing left to do but finally wrap this case up.
Wrap it up.
Paul's trial would be a long and drawn-out process, stretching over 2 years after his arrest. During this time, he remained in the Gallatin County Detention Center, where he quickly became a problem inmate. On
Right.
February 7th, roughly 1 month after his arrest, tensions escalated when Paul called out another inmate, Buckley, accusing him of being a liar. Buckley responded with a warning: "Don't disrespect him like that." But before he could say more, Paul threw a punch, hitting Buckley in the face and sparking a full-blown fist fight. Paul would be charged with assault following the fight, only adding to the array of charges against him. Paul would eventually meet his fate on February 4th,
That's him?
2020, nearly 2 years after his arrest. He'd be convicted of deliberate homicide, attempted deliberate homicide, and tampering with evidence, and would be sentenced to 220 years in prison without the possibility of parole.
To the charge of attempted to commit deliberate homicide and felony violence.
Wow. What's in this house? I'll be scared when it starts with them opening the door.
So it's
What?
for murder charges.
This is 60-year-old Eileen Gowan. She is briefly seen here leaving this apartment complex with a briefcase. This is the last time she would ever be seen alive.
So we're driving down the road to go shooting, and there is a dead body on the side of the road.
Dang.
Eileen's body would be found 13 days after the last time she was seen
13?
on CCTV. Police believe she was entangled in a deadly love triangle prior to her murder. Over the course of the next several months, this cold case would turn out to be far more complicated and even more disturbing than they could have ever imagined.
When we were broke up, she moved in with a guy, and he tried to mess with her.
And all I know is his first name is Sam. This is he told her it was a bad deal. You know, he told me he tossed it behind him, he's gonna run into a tree.
It's their grandfather in the car, and he called and saying that he's possibly going to try to crash the car.
Right.
On February 13th, 2023, Eileen Gowan was seen leaving her longtime job at Sugar's Diner. She had just told her daughter over a text message that she was on her way to pick up some things from her friend Mike, who she had recently moved in with, after breaking up with her ex-boyfriend, Sam Brammer, only a week earlier. Strangely, she would specify that her co-worker at Sugar's Diner would be the one to drive her there. However, as Eileen left her workplace, no co-worker would show up. Instead, strangely, her ex-boyfriend Sam would be the one to pick her up. Hours would go by, but Eileen would never show back up to Sugar's. The owner of the restaurant, Megan, would begin worrying as to where Eileen could have gone, and started frantically sending her messages asking for her whereabouts. But oddly, she would receive a single message back saying, "Leave me alone, I'm done." This was very strange coming from Eileen, as she almost never texted, usually resorting to phone calls, and was often extremely responsible. Something strange was going on. The day would go by, and Eileen would never be seen. The following day, Eileen's daughter would file a missing persons report for Eileen to the Council of Bluffs Police Department, and an investigation began. Detectives would begin collecting CCTV footage from everywhere in the town to try and fully document where Eileen went the day of her disappearance. But this would be quite the lengthy process. So without anything to go by, police would start asking her family and friends. Apparently, after leaving her ex-boyfriend, Sam Brammer, a week earlier, she had stayed with her new friend, Mike Brockman, a man her family claimed had likely assaulted her the night before she disappeared. This shined a suspicious light on both of the men she was involved with. So police would bring in both Sam and Mike for interrogation and see if they could find any leads. Mike was a friend of Eileen's who met her at Sugar's and became very close over time. It was still unclear to officers what happened to Eileen. At this point, for all they know, she could have just gone MIA and taken a break from her stressful life. However, if anyone would have the clues as to where she went, it would be Mike.
So basically, I mean, as you know, I talked to you on Monday, or Wednesday, I guess, was the first day I talked to you. I received information from some of the family that you and I were possibly in a relationship, or kind of sort of should be through for a few days or a week or so. But if you could just kind of go before Monday, kind of tell us, and you guys know each other, how she ended up out there to the place, that kind of thing.
She was a braiders and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then she told me, I don't know, it was like on Tuesday or Wednesday night, that she got kicked out, she needed a place to stay. I said, well, you would stay at my place for a couple of days. When it was Friday, she called me and she said, I won't be coming back. She said, we're getting back together. Her boyfriend. And all I know is his first name is Sam. I don't know anything else about it. And so I had to see her. And then she called me crying on that Saturday night. And she said, oh, we got into it. Can I come out for a day? I said, you come back out. But you gotta be on run because I can't have this. I'm single. I don't want anything like this going on.
Two initial thoughts can be made upon hearing Mike's story. On one hand, it seems like Sam was back together with Eileen, so Sam would be a much stronger person of interest, as he'd likely been the last person to see her. On the other hand, Mike may have had a deep connection with Eileen, meaning if he learned she got back with her ex-boyfriend just days after moving in with him, he could have played a sinister role in her disappearance. But detectives plan to let Mike tell his side of the story before confronting him about the suspicious relationship.
So I started to work Monday morning. I've been a week ago yesterday. Dropped her off at 5 a.m. And she was supposed to get off at, I don't know, she said 7 or 8. Her daughter was gonna pick her up. She's gonna go to her mom's and get her sleep and take her to her daughter's. And then she was supposed to come back and work at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, then I get a phone call from the bar saying, hey, he's seen her. And I said, I haven't seen her, I haven't talked to her. Now, oh, she didn't show up for work. She didn't show up. I said, I haven't heard anything. And I tried to contact her and couldn't get hold of her. So I sent her a text message and I said, all your stuff is bagged up. He's sitting behind the bar. You gotta get it. I want it out of here. I don't want to mess with any more of this.
Oh.
And I said that first.
Before even finding out, huh? Just because somebody was worried about where she at? That's a weird response.
Mike would would go on to claim that he never had any sexual relationship with Eileen and that she stayed in a completely different room to him while living in his house. However, detectives know more about Mike than he thinks, and with some information Eileen's close friends shared with them, they don't believe he and Eileen were just friends.
Has anybody said anything to you that Eileen was saying anything about you? Have you heard anything about her making any statements about you and your behavior while she lived or was staying with you out there?
No.
So you haven't heard that she may have made a statement that you possibly assaulted her while she was out there?
No.
Okay. That statement was made to a couple people that you supposedly laid down on her bed with her and spooned her from behind. Is that,
No.
can you tell me, is that any of that accurate, any of those statements?
I would not do that because like I said, she was a loose cannon.
I guess here's the deal, you're a grown man, she's a grown woman, you know, if there was any type of whatever contact between you that was consensual, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
I mean, she was crying that first night she come out from my area.
Okay.
But there was no full relationship, no asking for it or
This information is, well, concerning, considering it would be unlike Elaine to make up blatant lies of this magnitude. However, with little to no evidence, other than a few rumors coming from her friends, police can't harp over these allegations and decide to wrap Mike's questioning up. At this point, Mike is still considered to have potential involvement in Elaine's disappearance, but with a lack of leads, they direct their attention to the only other potential suspect, Elaine's ex-boyfriend, Sam Brammer.
You already met Detective Dyer? Yeah, this is Detective Dyer. I'm the sergeant that you talked on the phone. My name's Ted Roberts. I'm sorry.
you're not telling you. Yeah. I was the last person to see her alive.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yes, you sure did.
I said you were the last person that saw her before she went missing.
Sam wasted no time adding more suspicion onto his name. The phone recording shows that the detective never mentioned Sam being the last to see Eileen alive. Eileen has been missing for less than 48 hours at this point, so the facts that he's
Nobody
already
said she
alluding to
dead.
the idea
Yeah.
that she's dead is awfully disturbing. But this would only mark the beginning of Sam's unsettling choice of words during the interview.
As you said that, I got thrown out there. Oh, no, I didn't. I wasn't arrested. I got a lawyer with that.
No, yeah, I think you misheard me there. I got it recorded off, go back and listen to it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not what I said. But, I mean, basically.
That ain't what it said.
Crazy deal here where, you know, Eileen is evidently, her family and everything else, she's never done this kind of thing before. She's never just, you know, took off and gone. They all know
She comes to me, she's moved in with me 4 or 5 times. But usually when she moves in with me, she stays away from home.
Yeah, because they said that they talk every day. The daughter and her talk every day, by the phone or whatever she says. Yeah.
If they need something, then they'll go over it.
Okay.
Just like when she got arrested for DWI, she went to jail, they found her off. What they did, they turned her and dropped her off at the bar.
Okay.
And she's homeless.
Okay. If you could, I just need to know what went on Monday morning. What happened Monday morning with you?
She texted me.
Okay.
And wanted to know if I would come and get her. Because one of her friends supposedly was supposed to come and get her. And supposedly they ran out of gas. So.
Did she tell you the friend's name or? Okay.
So I got there, and I said, I'll be there in a minute. She was going to come inside. I don't want Megan to know that you're with me. I said, okay. And I pulled up, she gets in the truck. We take off, run out to this, supposedly the one that tried to do something with her. And drop her off there. Then I left. And then, wasn't too long after that is when she called me. I think she was at my house, you can't get in my own building, but you have a key to get in. But I think she was knocking on my window. I didn't look, I didn't care. I just wanted to lay down and take a nap. That's when she texted me, let me know if I could talk to Emmy about letting her leave back in, because this guy, now it's true. When? That night. The night before Monday? The night before. Okay. And I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if she was just saying that to get me to take her back or what. I don't know.
This statement adds more weight to Aline's allegations towards Mike. If Mike did do these things to Aline, then moving out and staying with Sam would be completely logical. On top of his statement, what Sam is about to reveal to detectives will make the allegations much harder to dismiss and place all the suspicion back on Mike.
She says, please talk to him, see if I can go back home. He me last night, Sam, I love you, I promise. I'll quit drinking. Please give me another chance. And she said, I'm hanging out with her, and this was at 122. What did it say? And it says here, I'm hanging out with a friend, I will get hold of you later. I'm not going to work. I'm not going back to work. Back at 2, right? I think 2 or 3. Yeah, okay. Okay. And then, you go to work, go back there, they treat me like shit. And then she said, you've seen it. They have. But, well, I can't say nothing. And then, I said, why are you telling me? Why didn't you tell me this earlier when I was talking to you? You're drunk. You're drunk and you need to be honest. That's why I can't do this no more. Please, do not call me no more, text me no more. I'll be friends with you at work. And that's where she got pissed off. You.
Based on these texts, it really seems like Aline's disappearance was just a way for her to take a break from her traumatic life. If this allegations are true and her ex-boyfriend refused to give her a place to stay, well, then running away for the time being is completely reasonable. Sam's story seems solid so far, but there's one tiny detail that just doesn't quite add up. And this detective has just picked up on it.
You said you dropped her out in front of Mike's house.
Yeah.
And you watched her walk into the...
Oh, she got out and she walked in front of the truck, and she walked in front of the truck, I went in front of and I saw her.
Okay, so you didn't see her get in the house, anything like that?
Mm-hmm.
So if she had walked away from there, I mean, that's quite a ways away from your apartment complex. I wonder how she would have got to you.
Sam claims the day of Aline's disappearance, he drove her from her workplace at Sugar's Diner over to Mike's house to get her belongings. After that, he drove off, assuming she was to be picked up by one of her friends. Fortunately, police can easily cross-reference these claims using surveillance footage. At this point, the majority of the CCTV camera footage has been obtained from the day of Aline's disappearance, so detectives quickly wrapped up Sam's interview so that they could further investigate his claims. Additionally, the detective would apologize for assuming Sam's earlier word choice was suspicious. After nearly 48 hours of compiling the surveillance footage from around the town, officers managed to put together a complete timeline of Sam and Aline's car ride. At 8:30 a.m. on February 13th, Aline would patiently wait at her work, Sugar's, for Sam to pick her up. Aline needed a ride to go and purchase a new apartment, since Mike had kicked her out. She would tell her boss and daughter that a friend was picking her up because she didn't want anyone to know her and Sam were back together. Aline and Sam would first drive to her mother's apartment, Dudley Courts. She would be seen carrying a suitcase-like object out from her mother's apartment, then leaving with it. This would turn out to be a safe containing $1,200, which she had planned to use as a down payment for an apartment. At 9:30 a.m., they would drive directly to the Sherwood apartment complex to purchase the apartment. However, the complex happened to be closed, so they were unable to purchase anything. This is where the timeline starts to deter from Sam's claims in the interrogation room. From 9:45 to 10:30 a.m., Sam's car can be seen driving all across town. He went in multiple circles and even made a quick stop to Burger King at 10:30. However, he never drove Aline to Mike's house like he had claimed. In fact, Sam's car can be seen driving in the opposite direction to Mike's house the entire morning. This is concerning, but it would only get worse. For the next 2 hours, Sam's truck goes off the grid. It's completely unknown where he went, and no CCTV cameras had managed to capture his location. Luckily, at 1 p.m., his truck would appear back on the same streets he circled on for hours that morning, and eventually, he would make his way back to his own home at the Cottonwood apartment complex. But things were different in all the recordings past 1 p.m. Elaine was no longer with Sam. Cameras had clearly captured that Sam was nowhere near Mike's house the entire day, so why would he feel the need to lie about where he dropped Elaine off? This footage paints Sam out to look awfully suspicious. And while both Sam and Mike have some strong dirt to their name, Sam's clear lies convince officers to bring him back to the station the very next day, this time to confront him on his false alibis. Unbeknownst to detectives, this very interview would spark a months-long game of cat and mouse involving a high-speed pursuit, unsettling clues, and a chilling discovery. But before we get to that, let me tell you about today's sponsor, ShipStation. Every business owner knows the headache of juggling multiple shipping platforms and carriers, especially after the holidays. That's where ShipStation comes in. ShipStation brings order to the chaos by letting you manage all your shipments in one place. No more juggling between different platforms or losing track of orders. ShipStation's features guarantee you will always find the best prices across all major carriers. The intuitive dashboard puts everything at your fingertips, making order management simple and efficient. Businesses save up to 88% off of UPS, DHL Express, and USPS rates. The best part is ShipStation automates everything. Your shipping labels, tracking updates, carrier selection, and it integrates seamlessly with all your existing platforms. No matter how big your business grows, ShipStation grows with you. Calm the chaos of order fulfillment with the shipping software that delivers. Switch to ShipStation today. Go to ShipStation.com and use code INSANITY to sign up for your free trial. That's ShipStation.com, code INSANITY. With that said, let's get back to Sam Brammer, who had just been brought back to the interrogation room to explain the inconsistencies in his alibi.
The other day when we were in here, you told me that you got a phone call from her and you went to pick her up from her. So if you could do me a favor and just kind of go through that timeline again. We know that it's somewhere right around at 8:30. So if you can just kind of go through that timeline again as far as...
I'm not too sure on the time.
Okay.
But anyway, she texted me that morning, and I didn't text her back. I called her, and she wanted to know if I would come and get her. Because some girl was supposed to pick her up, and she ran out of gas. So I went and picked her up, and she got in the truck. I left, and she wanted to talk to me about helping her get in the apartment. Because she lived in the same apartment building I did, but she didn't pay the rent, so she got kicked out. So, but she didn't want to go home right away. So me and her just went right down Broadway, and she wanted to stop at her mom's house. I stopped at her mom's house, and she was in there for, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. She come out there, got back in, and we was going back down Broadway, just talking some more. And she promised me, she wanted me to drop her back off at his house. But she made me promise I wouldn't be out there doing what I told her I promised. That's the night I get there, we just get out. You walk in front of the truck, I'll turn around and I'll leave. And she said, okay. Okay, so you went up there, you dropped her off, then what you did? Yeah, as soon as I pulled up, and she didn't want me on her driveway in case she was there. Okay. And she got the truck, when she got the truck, she walked in front of her truck, and that's why I watched her turn around and came back. Okay. And I hit straight home. So you went back down to the highway, went back down to Kingsville?
You left her there? Huh? You left her there?
Yeah.
Or you...
No, she got the truck, she didn't want to come in.
You didn't say anything, but you said she went in, grabbed clothes, came back out to your truck, and you guys left again.
No. That was at her mom's house.
Clearly, Sam is lying about where he was the day of Eileen's disappearance. The detectives know it, and it seems like Sam is starting to realize he won't be able to keep up his fake story for much longer. Even after being told that cameras show him nowhere near Mike's house the entire day, Sam insists on his story that he did in fact drop Eileen off at Mike's house. With this, the detectives would take a brief break from the room to watch the footage over again, just to triple check that Sam is 100% lying. And to nobody's surprise, the footage showed Sam on the opposite side of town during the time he claims to have been at Mike's. So when the detectives return to the interview room, they'll use this information to try and get Sam to own up to his lies.
You got a small little sample that I did need to talk to you about, okay? So you said after you drop her off, out there off of Highway 191 at that residence, you headed back to your apartment. We checked some of our cameras, okay, and we had a camera at 36th and Broadway, and we had your truck going westbound at 9:28 a.m. going home, okay, when you passed 36th and Broadway heading west. So you didn't go home, you went over home, looks like. Do you remember what you did, or you saw went over home? Where'd you go? I told you when you were home. I don't remember home. Well, the camera doesn't lie. It's your truck and it's your license plate number. Right. Okay. At 36th and Broadway, at 9:28 a.m., going west toward 480. And then 1 hour later, you're coming back from Omaha, and you're coming eastbound, coming back into Camps Plus. 1 hour later. No, we're going home. Where are you going? How much are you going?
Sam is stuck at this point. No matter what information detectives reveal, he will not admit to anything. At this point in the interview, all Sam has left is to simply reject everything the detectives tell him. They know Sam isn't telling the truth, but why he's not telling the truth is what remains to be seen. However, with Sam seemingly uncooperative, all detectives can do is end the interview and let Sam back onto the streets, until more concrete evidence can prove he had more to do with Aline's disappearance than he claims. But fortunately, letting Sam back onto the streets would lead them to the exact evidence that they were looking for. While law enforcement was working away at this case, another investigative group would be working in the dark. Aline's family. Everyone held hope that Aline was still alive, but with time passing, her family was demanding answers. Sam and Aline had a long history of arguments, physical assault, and much more that the family was well aware of. They knew Sam had more information about Aline's whereabouts than he had told them. So, to figure this out for themselves, Elaine's son, Jack, would show up to Sam's door that same night, and he would pound on the door, and upon opening, Jack would ask the simple question, "What the hell did you do to my mom?" In Jack's words, Sam stared at him as if he had seen a ghost and then shut the door in his face. Sam panicked. Whatever he did to Aline, people were starting to catch on. Later that night, Sam would talk to his granddaughter, Emily, and would claim that he was going to harm himself so that he could go visit her deceased grandmother. This shocked Emily, as in her eyes, Aline was still alive. Quickly, she would call 911 to report everything Sam had just told her. And shortly thereafter, police would locate a drunken Sam at his local bar.
Hi, sir. How are you? Good. Is this your vehicle?
Yeah.
Hey, can I talk to you real quick?
Yeah.
Do you have any weapons or anything on here?
No.
Okay. Hey, we were called to check your welfare. Okay, I think you talked to your granddaughter earlier, and she was concerned about you, some of the statements that you made to her. I'm here for you, man. Tell me what's going on. Why are you feeling the way you're feeling?
My girlfriend, it was like a week ago, me and her broke up. She moved in with a guy, and apparently
What's his name?
The only thing I know, he goes by Mike. Me and her broke up. She didn't have a place to go. She moved in with him. She told me Friday that he tried to mess with her. So I called my son and see if she could move back in, because he kicked us out. So I called my son and see if she could move back in with her. And then I went to his house, got her stuff, took her to my son's. And then the next morning, we went to work, and then she went right back to him. So I don't know.
So what comments did you make to your granddaughter that would be concerning this evening?
I just told her I'm going to have a couple of drinks and I love her. That's it.
And did you mention something about seeing Grandma tonight?
What's that?
Did you mention something about seeing Grandma tonight?
No.
I would like for you to talk to somebody tonight. I would like for you to talk. to a medical professional. Okay, I don't want to have to drag you up to the hospital, but I most certainly will. I think based off of what the granddaughter has told us tonight, and kind of the.
What she call you?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
No. Yeah. So.
She was crying. She's.
Oh really?
Yes. She was very emotional.
Her best friend and are currently at the apartment because of what you said.
Wow.
Based off of what they have told me tonight, I'm going to give you one of two options. You can go up willingly and talk to a medical professional tonight,
Okay.
or I can take you up there and you'll stay there for 72 hours. Okay?
I can't have my granddaughter come with me?
No. Based off of what you've told us and what's going on in your life right now,
Yeah.
you need to talk to somebody. I don't think that we will be doing our due diligence to do our job to make sure that you're not going to hurt yourself based off of what's going on with you and your girlfriend.
Right.
Okay? You need to talk to somebody tonight. Okay? And so the best course of action is to go up to the hospital, your choice, to go talk to somebody about it tonight.
Isn't that nice? The options.
Was clearly deteriorating.
We probably would have been arrested already, ain't it?
Things really getting to me. Following this, Sam would be placed in a psychiatric facility for the next 2 days,
Jeez.
where he would undergo therapy and psychiatric care.
Get handcuffed or none.
Days, detectives would aim to gather more intel on the case. This time by interviewing the family of Eileen and Sam. They bring in both Justin Brammer, Sam's son, and Nicole Shipper, Eileen's daughter. And both of them will reveal significant details crucial to solving the case.
Detective Zach Miller, I just want to get as much history as you can tell me or talk to me about when it comes to your mom. What was their relationship like over there?
Not a healthy one.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
He didn't like her drinking. He thought he could change her get her to stop drinking. I told him that he can't because she won't change for her kids. She's not going to change for a man. And he seemed to think that he could change her, so he kept trying with her. But there was things on his part and her part that were not healthy. They both had jealousy issues. He has a very short temper. Very short temper. And littlest things will set him off, and it's like ridiculous. When they were good, they were good. But when it was not, I was constantly in the middle of it because she's my mom and that's my boyfriend's dad.
They were good when they weren't drinking.
Right. Say that again.
Her boyfriend's dad.
She bigger, she argued.
And her mom?
The mom got married to Sam, and they were their step-siblings, but they dated.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the mom is dating the dad, and the daughter dating the brother. I mean, the son.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He told me she grabbed him by her neck a couple times. Why would he grab her by the neck? She grabbed him up.
Oh.
It seemed like Sam and Eileen had a rocky relationship, but it rarely escalated to the point of violence. And if the fights did turn violent,
Thank you so much,
Eileen
Tamara.
doing the physical harm to Sam.
The week prior to last Monday, what was going on?
They were separated.
I do what I could do.
She called me.
Thank you for joining and watching. I appreciate you.
She don't want to get back with him because she's tired of him throwing her out for little reasons. And she's sick of not being able to have a stable home because he just gets so mad at the smallest things and just kicks her out.
Did Emily want her to go, or was it your dad that wanted him to go? Was it Sam? My dad. Okay. You take her back, you kick her back out. Bring her back, kick her back out. Told me to stop. I mean, you guys can separate. Separate ways.
Sam's family strongly suggests that Eileen was in fact the troubled one in the relationship, and Sam tried over and over to cut her out of his life. This only perplexed detectives and simply doesn't explain why Sam's been acting so strangely following Eileen's disappearance. 2 days after these interviews, Sam would be released from the psychiatric facility. Fortunately for Sam, no new leads had come out regarding Eileen's death, meaning he could finally have some peace for the first time in the last week. Or so it would seem. Because on February 21st, the same day Sam was released, he would go to Walmart to restock on alcohol. However, right as Sam was about to get in his truck and leave, an off-duty officer spotted him and decided to ask some questions related to Eileen. Hesitantly, Sam asked to move his truck, and then he would talk to the officer. But the moment he got into his car, Sam would slam on the pedal,
Took off.
hitting the officer, and floor his truck down the road, flying past pedestrians. The cop would jump in his car and begin chasing Sam, who would only pick up speed as he ramped up to over 100 miles per hour down the peaceful roads of Rexburg.
Don't you love some nice, neat braids? These are just box braids, and I love them.
The chase continued for multiple minutes, but it became clear to officers that Sam had no plans of slowing down. So the chief officer radioed in to call the chase off. Sam had just successfully run from the police, and while he was having the time of his life, this chase obviously made things much, much worse for Sam. Not only was he now highly suspected of murder, but is also wanted for evading arrest and reckless driving. A couple hours after his escape, he would simply return back to his apartment as if nothing had ever happened. Ironically, this would actually postpone Sam's arrest, as more officers assumed he would be hiding in a more clever place and searched around the town instead of checking the Cottonwood apartments. In fact, the entire day would go by, and officers had no trace of where Sam could have gone. But the fun would only last for a day, and the pressure must have gotten to Sam, as the next morning he would turn himself in to police. Sam would be charged with eluding and reckless driving and would be placed in the Pottawatomie County Jail. However, Sam would only spend one night in the county jail after being bailed out by Emily. So by the grace of a miracle, yet again, Sam Brammer was back on the streets. During this time, Sam would go to the bank and hand them a large stack of cash to deposit into his account. This wad of cash would come out to be approximately $1,200, the exact amount found in Eileen's safe that she had the day of her disappearance. Additionally, Sam would drive his truck over to the scrapyard. He would ask to fully dispose of it, crushing it to pieces, and even shredding it after. To make sure this got done, Sam would meticulously watch the entire hour-long process, ensuring his car was turned to dust. It couldn't be more obvious that Sam had something to do with Eileen's disappearance. The lies to detectives, the disturbing comments to Emily, running from the cops, cashing in Eileen's safe money, and now shredding the only potential piece of evidence he had left. On top of all of that, detectives had looked into the claims involving Mike Brockman and discovered that Mike was at work all day at Omaha, Nebraska, nowhere near Sugar's Diner where Eileen was last seen. All of that leaves Ivan Sam Brammer as the final suspect. But with no direct evidence, all law enforcement could do is wait until new clues came their way.
911, what's the address for emergency?
I don't really have an address. We're off the exit of Crescent, Iowa, over by a public shooting area.
Hi.
So we're driving down the
No,
road
they don't hurt.
Shooting or whatever, and there is a dead body.
I'm not a heavy braider.
Male or female?
It's female for sure.
On February 26th, Eileen's body was found underneath a bridge just miles away from Sam's apartment. The body was unrecognizable, but the clothes matched the exact outfit Eileen was wearing the day she disappeared. Someone had killed her. Medics would pronounce Eileen dead on the scene, and she would be
Okay,
taken to the
guys, my phone
hospital to
is
get an
about to
autopsy
die,
done to
but
determine
I
her cause of
will
death.
come back
But her
when I
results
am
would
on the
come back
front,
strange.
and you'll see the finished result
Eileen
if
had
you
big
want
blunt
to tune
force
in.
impacts to her
Talk to you
head and a
soon.
fractured front tooth.
God is good.
While
In a minute, guys.
gruesome, none of these injuries